So a lot of people have a lot of takes, a lot of takeaways, a lot of lessons from last night's upset victory in New York City of Zohran Mamdani in the Democratic primary over Andrew Cuomo. And, there's a word that gets thrown around a lot. That word is agenda. And I get troll comments all the time. I made a couple videos the other night making fun of them because I'm getting comments from people that are like, yeah, but what's your agenda? You're just pushing your agenda. Does this fit your narrative? This doesn't fit your narrative. Agenda, narrative, all that shit. But agendas and narratives are real things. They really are. And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of content creators who do have agendas, pretty clearly have agendas, and certainly have had agendas in discussing these election results. But in fairness, as I was thinking about making this video, I was like, well, what is my agenda? Because I'm not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not objective. I believe the things that I believe. And a lot of the videos that I make very clearly express my opinions on things. That's one of the main reasons why I make videos, because I want to express my opinions about things. When I'm doing that, I am not being objective. I'm not trying to just, well, this side says this and this side says that. I think both sidesism is bullshit, and it's one of the big reasons why we are where we are today as a nation. So what are some of the things that are on my agenda? Speaking out to protect and improve democratic rule in our constitutional republic, preserving democracy, refuting the lies, abuse, and other things of this administration and the GOP and Donald Trump's MAGA base, highlighting the dysfunction and hypocrisy of the DNC and the Democratic Party and the things that they need to change. And I say that as an outsider. I am not a Democrat. But 128 Democrats voted against an impeachment resolution yesterday against Donald Trump. And last night, Zohran Mamdani in New York City beat the ever-loving shit out of the entire Democratic Party establishment. Cuomo was endorsed by a former president of the United States and lost by 7.5 points. Other things that are part of my agenda as it relates to TikTok, highlighting and amplifying Black voices on this app on my page and learning from those creators everything that I can. And I could say the same thing for creators who are people of color, the LGBT community, trans creators, women, the disabled, First Nations, Native Americans, and immigrants. Also speaking out against injustice and oppression and hypocrisy here and abroad, lately, including specifically Israel, the Gaza Strip, and Zionism. A couple of the things that I mentioned in that list, speaking out against a couple of those things that I mentioned on that list, are definitely not part of the agenda of some creators that I've seen on this app who a lot of us go to for information. And if your takeaway from last night's upset by Zohran Mamdani is that he got that done because he embraced social media and new media, and that's the lesson that the Democratic Party needs to take away from last night's election results, you are betraying what your actual agenda is. That was obviously an important component, but to say that that's why he won and not addressing any of the things that he actually had in his platform, like, he campaigned on radical policy changes that were very upsetting to the DNC and the Democratic establishment. Social democracy, fighting injustice, fighting the establishment, and talking about, very democratized versions of housing, safety, affordability, childcare, taxing the rich, donor class, taxing the rich, Democratic donor class, healthcare, labor rights. And he said during the campaign, if he was mayor and Benjamin Netanyahu were to come to New York City, he would have him arrested. He has been painted as an anti-Semitic throughout this entire campaign, an anti-Semitic person by Zionists. And, it actually really does matter in this age of social media and new media, where so many people can gain large followings. And I'm going to keep doing this, being transparent about my agenda. And I'm going to write it up. I'm going to create a document, and I'm going to keep an ongoing document of Hawk's agenda. Another thing on my agenda is talking about mental health and my mental health. I think that's crucially important when I have a following as large as I do, that I am blessed to have. And, also part of my agenda, again, indicative of the fact that I am not a news organization. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I like to put stuff on social media that's funny and dumb and stupid and makes people laugh, like Cletus. I am not putting myself out here in the world as a journalist or a reporter or a news person. I bring my life experience and my professional experience to the content that I make. And hopefully, especially when it comes to legal issues and politics and news and how all of those things interact or interrelate with each other, my experience as a trial attorney, I have been told, has some value for people in helping everyday folks who don't have the experience that I have in understanding the issues that are out there right now. Including things like the legalities of sending the National Guard or the Marines to Los Angeles, or the legalities of Trump violating the War Powers Act when he bombs Iran. I mean, there are legal issues in the legal issues involved in Trump's executive orders against law firms or against colleges. There are legal issues in literally every single day's news cycle these days. And so I'm grateful for the legal experience that I have, that I can bring to bear on some of these issues and make them understandable for people. But, if somebody's main takeaway from last night with Zoran Mamdani is that he won because he embraced social media and new media, that person has an agenda that they are not telling you about and that they are not making obvious to you. And frequently it relates to where they are getting some or all of their money or funding. So everybody needs to be aware of this shit, man. It's 2025. Transparency is key.